Well, Luke Michael, welcome, bro. We're here at Apex. Final day of sparring for you, fight week coming up. How's it going, bro? Welcome to the show, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, it's going great. Final day of sparring today. 1 week out, feeling great. Best shape of my life. I'm ready to throw down next Saturday at EFC.
Nice one,
Can't
man.
wait, man.
Nice one. Before we jump into the fight week stuff, what I like to do is kind of just get an idea of where this all started for you, how MMA began, or combat sports, whatever it was. Was it Jean-Claude Van Damme back at Bloodsport 1, and what was happening? Just give us a little rundown of how that all started.
Well, actually, I watched a movie called Never Back Down.
Okay.
MMA movie, and I was flipped from that. I watched the movie and I was like, MMA, it looks awesome. I want to try it out. I found a local gym back in Cape Town and started training. Started fighting amateur when I was 17. Went 7-0 as an amateur, and then went professional when I was 19. And yeah, it's the rest is history.
Okay. So that was in Cape Town. So which gym did you start with? How did that all evolve, and how did you end up in Joburg? That's really what we want to get to.
Well, I started in Cape Town. Yeah, a guy called Rico Hatin. He had a gym pretty close to my house, my parents' house, in Goodwood, Cape Town. Started there. I initially started with some jiu-jitsu, and then I transitioned into MMA. So I trained. I fought amateur, went undefeated, got the amateur lightweight belt, CFL. I then got my professional license. Had my first EFC fight in August 2014, it's almost 4 years ago, under Rico and the guys at Reps. Won my first fight, won my second fight, then I kind of went on a bad slide, went on a 3-fight losing streak. After my second loss, I left Rico. Just wasn't, in my opinion, I wasn't receiving what I needed. The initial investment, what he put into me, wasn't the same after the few years. So yeah, I had another fight in June 2016, Sun City. I lost that one as well. That was my third loss. That's when I knew I needed to make the move. I always knew FM is the best in the country. Richie is the best in the country. So yeah, I made the move up to Johannesburg last year, June 2017, and had my first fight under Richie, November 2017, where I came back after a year and a half, finished the fight in the first round. I then went on to fight in March again, March 2018, fought in Cape Town, and I finished my opponent as well in the first round. So yeah, things are looking good for me. I feel like this is where I'm meant to be all the years in my career. Obviously, I've had people along my journey, but I feel like this is home. This is where my true potential is being unlocked. This is where I'm receiving the best coaching, the best training in the country. I've also traveled overseas to what, in many opinion, is the best gym in the world, Jackson Wink, with Greg Jackson and Michael Winklejohn, and I can honestly compare that the level of training I'm receiving under Richie and my team here is on par, if not better.
100%, man. So I just want to jump in there. You mentioned a couple of points. You racked up a couple of losses as a young guy. Obviously, like a bit of a crossroads, in a sport that's difficult to make it in. A lot of factors to consider. Moving up to Joburg, changing team, changing environment. What was it like mentally to go through all of that and just back yourself 100% and say, look, I know I've got the talent, I know I've got the drive, I'm packing up my stuff, I'm moving to Joburg to be with the best, and I'm going to make it in the sport. How did you have the conversation with yourself, and what was it like?
It's quite crazy the way you mentioned it. It's pretty surreal, actually, because yeah, like after my third loss, a lot of people counted me out, they doubted me. A lot of people said I shouldn't fight anymore, said sport's not for me, and I knew myself. I believed in myself more than anyone else at that stage. And I just knew that I just needed the right environment. I just knew I needed to be surrounded by the right people who are on the same mission as me. I believe I've proved it. I've fought my first 2 fights. I finished in EFC. I just had a bad slide. Mentally, I wasn't really where I needed to be in order to compete and perform at that level, and obviously I got no one to blame for my losses but myself, but I knew I needed change, and I'm happy to be with Richie and the team. It was a tough part of my career, and a lot of people don't understand
Sure.
that. I was out for a while, 18 months. Never won a fight. Like after my fight in November 2017, the first one, I haven't won in 3 years. My last one was November, so it was tough mentally. Yeah, that conversation I had with myself was, no, I need to just keep going, keep pushing, and I don't care what people think. Like I believe in myself, and I know I'm going in the sport.
100%, man. And just how old were you at that time when you made this decision?
When I made this decision, I was 20. To move up to Johannesburg, I was 22. So yeah, 22.
Insane. And
Yeah.
what was the initial transition like? A new city, new team, obviously a big fight camp, the biggest in Africa, we can say, and one of the biggest, hopefully, in the world to be soon. What was that whole transition like fitting into a new team and in a new city and all of the stuff that comes
It
with
was a massive adjustment. Yeah, packed my bags, moved to Johannesburg, joined at that time FFM, got into the gym. Obviously, I was in a position where I walked into a gym full of top fighters, some of the best in the country, and obviously I needed to prove myself. And the initial stage was hard, it was tough. I got thrown into deep waters. I got tested physically, mentally, emotionally. I've been through a lot until I got back into the cage. But I sit back now and I look back and it's all worth it. That sacrifice, that grind, and that never give up attitude. It's all paying off now. I feel I've worked hard to find my place in this team, and I'm gonna keep that place. I'm gonna keep building the momentum which I'm on now.
100%, man. And you talk about the team and having your place in the team. How have you evolved under Coach Kwan and under what is now Apex HQ? What do you think has been like the massive change for you and what's really been a big like moment? Like said to yourself, okay, this is what I've been missing. What's been like the biggest contribution you think to your game?
I think honestly the biggest contribution which I received from this team and the investment I received from this team was the fact that I got to know myself better.
Sure.
As a man and as an athlete and as a fighter, like who I am as a fighter. I believe like Richie really showed me who I am, who I need to be, what type of style I am. Obviously I'll always fight to my strengths. So I feel like that's where I've improved a lot. Like mentally, just knowing what I need to do when I get in the cage. My skill set has improved tremendously, I feel. Everyone else tells me that as well, from when I started. So yeah, it's been an awesome experience. I feel like Richie really developed my strengths even more. Like everyone knows my grappling and wrestling is high level. I feel like it's even more high level now
Sure.
that I've been here. So obviously working towards that all-round game, but it's all a process, and I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to experience this.
100%, man. What I just want to look at is you've obviously got a couple of alliances up here in Joburg now. You're working at the yard with Scotty. You're doing your strength and conditioning there. Just talk us through Scotty's role in your preparation for a fight.
Yeah, well, I've actually known Scott from Cape Town. We met there a few years ago, and then when I moved up to Joburg, when I planned to join Richie and Coach Kwan, I knew that he's a great strength and conditioning coach, one of the best in the country. Because he actually worked with one of my previous strength and conditioning coaches in Cape Town, so I knew him. He had a good name. I contacted him, and we began working about a year ago.
Okay.
And he's a great guy. He's been there for me as a good friend as well. Obviously helped me with my cut as well, because I do cut a lot to make lightweight.
Sure.
So he's been there for me during this experience in Joburg over the last year. The training is very high level. He made me stronger, fitter, more conditioned, and it supplemented my MMA game tremendously.
100%, man. What I wanted to ask you, what do you think separates you from other guys in your division? I believe you use a mind coach, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
So talk us through. Obviously, do you think that kind of is something that not a lot of guys are doing? It's something I'm very interested in. Is mind coaches. And what guys are doing. So talk us through what you're doing with the mind coach and how they aid you and who it is actually. I've seen the guy I think on Instagram post about you.
Yeah, 100%. So actually, after my third loss in 2016, I have a couple of obviously connections I made overseas at Jackson Wing, and one of my good friends is in the UFC now. He suggested that I speak to this guy. He coaches some UFC and Bellator athletes, like all online sports psychology type things, and it's Mind Sport. The guy is Rob Dawson. He's a sports psychologist.
Okay.
So we work online together, video call now and again, especially now in camp.
Cool.
He helps me leading up to the fight, my process on fight day, weigh-in, everything. And I feel like it's helped me a lot. The exercises, like for example, on pressure, on just like that just like overcoming that sort of anxiety some fighters have leading up to a fight. He's played a massive role in my comeback and in my journey this far. So I'm happy to have him on my team.
Yeah, sure, man. And I think it's like I've had the discussion with a few MMA athletes before. Like it's a weird thing. I don't think even someone like myself, I try to see and understand what's going on, but I don't think anybody can really ever understand, maybe besides yourself, MMA athletes, is just in the space of the time you're queuing up to walk out for your fight to the time you actually get into the cage, the amount of things that can creep inside of your mind. Have I trained hard enough? Do I have the skill set? Am I able to beat this person? All of these things start rushing in. You know what I mean? There's not like a rugby situation. Like, okay, look, if my right hand is a bit dodged today, someone else can pick up my slack, kind of thing. You know. So there's this whole like elimination of doubt and this small little walk. Obviously there's transfers before that, but that's when you like isolated, you on your own. You've got to kind of like deal with all of these
100%.
things. So just like, did you focus on those things, on like keeping yourself in check and kind of like just nulling out the noises in your head, to say, and you just like kind of
100%. And I feel as if like I've honestly reached that point in my fight in March at EFC. I think it was 65. I think I'm not too sure. Yeah, 65. I think honestly, like as you said now, like I was backstage with my team, and I knew I'm up next. I was behind the curtains, and I felt free. I felt relieved. I felt excited. Like, before I can compare my previous fights, I would, like you say, feel anxious and like doubt myself. But I feel like I was nervous. That's normal. It's always going to be there. But I feel as if I broke through that barrier of just being myself, and just being confident in what I need to do, and also backing myself and backing the preparation which I put into the 8 weeks or the 10 weeks. Leading up to that night, and it was a surreal experience. I mean, I ran out to the cage, and I was super excited to perform, and I performed, and I believe that is the way I will be going forward, and I believe that will be my process, which will collect me many wins in the future.
100%, man. So that's like quite a cool detail into your career and your mind processes and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, the major talking point is now the fight in front of you. From the second it was announced, Arman Skippers obviously had a few things to say, which is to, like, from a fan's perspective, it's always quite cool to see, because all of a sudden you've got this hype, but now you've got this story to sell. This kind of former teammates. Both guys who came up here from Cape Town, only one survived and one went home, kind of thing. So just talk us through like. The whole process from the time you signed the fight and how it all came about, because obviously you're now fighting at welterweight. It's one-off as far as I understand. Is that kind of just to get a fight instead of waiting, or are you kind of having a little look at perhaps the welterweight as a possibility?
Initially, when I signed the fight, Graham offered me the fight at 77, because I know he can't make weight because he's overweight and not that professional, in my opinion. Because he should be like a bantamweight featherweight. Anyway, besides the point. Well, I took the fight. I was happy to fight at 77 because I do walk around like pretty heavy. I mean, when I signed the fight, I was about probably 85, 86. So for 70, it's quite a big cut. So I was happy. My coaches were happy. Richie was happy. But then, like, during the course of this camp, actually, like probably 10 days ago, Richie and Chad, team leader, actually sat me down and said that welterweight wouldn't be a bad idea for me.
Okay.
because of my performance in the gym over the last few weeks at this weight. They say physically I'm a lot stronger. Mentally, I'm in a better space. And they just like all around, they say it's not a bad idea.
Sure.
So I could definitely play between the two. Obviously, I did have a welterweight fight like 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. But back then I was walking around, I was like 19, 20 years old. I was walking around like 78.
Okay.
So like back then my team said I should fight welterweight, which looking back, I don't agree upon now at all, because I was like, if you look at me now compared to then, it's like two different men.
Sure.
So Richie, actually, I was quite surprised at what he said, but he said I could fight welterweight and lightweight. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna get this win, and then I would like to fight lightweight. I was supposed to fight Dion Brunin. I really still want that fight at lightweight. Good test for me. I'm excited for the future. I've got many options.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think that's quite a conversation amongst the MMA elite at the moment, is where do you kind of draw the line between cutting weight and fighting closer to your walk around weight, and what are the different results? I mean, obviously we know some guys can cut quite drastically and operate 100%, some guys can't, you know what I mean? 100%. And we've seen through MMA a lot of guys just like fight at a weight class one above and just surge, man. They just like absolutely just dominate, and there's been quite a few cases. So that's quite a cool point. And geez, man, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
Obviously we get to see it happening pretty soon, and that'll be a pretty good indication of your performance, how you feel on the night, and that sort of thing. So that's quite cool. I think
definitely. Like I feel as if I'm kind of in the middle between light and welterweight. Like I'm a bit big for lightweight. Like the cut is very hard, but I'm not for guys in the EFC division, if you look at guys like Trickers, he's massive.
Yeah.
So comparing me and him, he's like a proper welterweight, whereas I'm not. But I'm still growing as well. I have the potential, like Chad told me, I have the potential to get much bigger. I'm pretty tall, so I could definitely play between the two. I don't believe this specific fight will show that if I should stay in the welterweight division, based on the fact that I don't believe Skirpers is a welterweight. So I'm not sure if physically I'm going to get tested as I would have against a proper welterweight, for example, like the top 5 in the EFC. So I will get this fight, I'll finish this fight, and then I'll look at having a couple more, and then see how I fit in the division. Obviously put on some size, and then we'll take it from there.
100%, man. And let's just have a look at your fight with Skip, obviously you're two guys that know each other, former teammates. I don't really like to say former teammates. I mean, he was here for a short while. You know, he wasn't here too long, and he came and left before anyone really knew about it. And his last fight, he was put away quite severely. It was quite intense. So what was your immediate reaction after seeing his social media post? Do you kind of sit there and go, okay, look, bro, I know you're trying to amplify here, or is it like a more personal dig? Which way do you see it?
It's a bit of both, but I would say it's leaning towards more a bit of a personal dig because of what he based it upon, saying that he beat me into a losing streak. I don't know what the hell he means by that. I mean, it's not personal in the sense that he's in my head of any sort. Like I'm just saying, like he's gonna get what he's asking for and what he's trying to get at. But yeah, we trained here. When I joined last year June, he was here. He never gave me any trouble anywhere. I don't know what he's talking about. Obviously, we did train at reps as well in Cape Town for a few years, but even then, we weren't like full on. We wouldn't train every day together. We weren't like proper. We would train, but not a lot. You know what I mean? He says he beat me back then. That's fine. If him and his coaches, if him and Rico are thinking of me as the same guy after 3-4 years, then that's good for them, and good luck with their preparation for that guy. I'm ready. You know, I truly believe, and I know for a fact I've evolved a lot over the last years. After the last year, I've been training with the best. I've been finishing guys. He's been getting finished, and I don't know. He's super overweight. I don't believe his skill set's improved since he's left FFM. Coach Kwan, he couldn't cut it here. He couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle the pressure. He couldn't handle the training. He was lazy. He wasn't disciplined. I mean, Richie wouldn't let him fight because he was supposed to be a featherweight, but he was walking around like close to 90. So, in terms of character and mental capacity, he's nowhere near my level. He's a fighter. I'll give him that. His game, but at the end of the day, at this level, that's not enough.
Sure. What would you say the fans can expect from that fight, from your point of view? What can they expect from you on the mat?
The fans can expect an explosive fight. I'm going to be putting lots of pressure on this guy. I know he likes to come forward as well, but that's fine. He won't match my intensity, my pressure. I'm going to be aggressive on the ground, and fans can expect me to finish him pretty early.
100%, man. And if he was across the road from you now, and you had the chance, what would be your message to him?
My message would be to him just he can keep talking as much as he wants. He can try to be as relevant as he wants to, because in my opinion he's not relevant. He beat two guys in the EFC who's, in my opinion, not that big names, and he lost to Günther. So he's not relevant in my opinion. He's trying to speak and make himself look bigger than what he is. So yeah, he can keep doing that, keep playing this big guy attitude. I'm actually seeing him at the open workout, so I'm keen for that.
The final little bit of stare down.
Yeah.
Eh? What I wanted to ask you just after that is, we saw in a couple of your fights, like Roderick Kenner, I remember being at media day. It got quite heated, and that seems to be like a bit of an underlying theme for most of your fights. Like, do you enjoy getting that little bit of heat, a little bit of tension? Does it excite you?
Yeah.
Or you like being the villain a little bit?
Yeah.
Getting in a war of words before a fight.
I remember the Kenner fight in November. I was obviously my first fight under Coach Kwan and Richie, and there was a lot of emotion behind it.
Sure.
So obviously I was a bit riled up. He got in my face, and I mean, it was a tough 5 months before leading up to that. So I sort of just matched him on that level. He wanted to get a bit physical and heated, so I matched that, and yeah, I enjoy it. It's a fight at the end of the day. We're gonna get in there and try to hurt each other. So yeah, even my last one as well against Gundari was a similar effect. Yeah.
I'm just laughing now when I'm thinking about Gundari picking up loaves of bread. I just remembered that now.
Yeah. He was there was just create some hype for fight. He needed to bulk up, but he never, unfortunately.
That was one of the funniest things I think I've seen in a fight build-up. To be honest, but yeah, man.
Yeah, and like for sure, like whatever my opponent brings, I'm gonna match that. I'm not a outspoken, loud guy. I don't like to talk too much before fights, because in my opinion, like, I know it sounds cliche, I'll do my talking in the cage, but it really is that, because at the end of the day, we're gonna get in the cage and we're gonna fight. So why not just leave it till then? But also, with that being said, obviously fans like to see some action, some hype. So if even if Skippers, if he wants to get a bit physical, we're gonna get physical. That's just the way it is.
100%. Obviously, you mentioned just before Dion Brunning as a fight that you'd really like, a good test. Hypothetically, beyond this fight, where do you see yourself, and what do you want to do next? Is Dion Brunning the focus? Is another win here change your focus, or what's on your mind?
Well, look, obviously I'm not looking past anyone.
Sure.
I'm fully focused on the 11th of August. But I do believe I'll put this guy away. Like I see him as like a block on my journey.
Sure.
I'm just going to remove him and then continue my journey. And with that being said, like, I am looking beyond him as well.
Sure.
In that sense. So initially I was supposed to fight Brunin at lightweight. About, I think it was like 6 weeks ago at the last event, Carnival City, Graham told me he's out. Was pretty disappointed. I mean, I remember you also created some hype around that. It was a good fight. I mean, two good ground grapplers.
Great fight.
Gonna fight each other. He just fought a #1 contender. So for me, to beat him would be massive for my career. It would really propel me to perhaps title contention in the near future. But yeah, with this fight at 77 next Saturday against Skippers, I believe I'm going up a weight. I mean, his last fight was a welterweight, so I'm going up, and I will finish this guy. So for me, it's my third straight win, third straight finish. I believe it puts me up there in the welterweight or lightweight division. I think more so the lightweight division though, because I'll be coming off 3 straight wins. So yeah, I would like to fight again in November at Cape Town. There's another card. See, hopefully it will be Dion. I believe that's a good test for me. Like I said, I believe when I beat him, that puts me up the ranks, man. So
100%.
I'm excited for this journey.
100%, man. What is your ultimate goal in MMA? Where do you see yourself ending this journey?
Well, definitely, I want to focus on my journey now. My short-term goals is the EFC, really riding that wave and getting to where I need to be in my division. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to compete overseas on the bigger promotions. UFC is obviously the ultimate goal for me. I wouldn't be doing the sport for any other reason. I believe I have what it takes. I'm young, I'm hardworking, I'm talented, and yeah, it's just a matter of time, really. Obviously, it's a process. It takes years. But I'm 23. I got time. I got a good mindset, and I got the best people around me. So that's definitely my long-term goal. UFC. I mean, I got a teammate. I train with him every day, Don Madge, and I see the guy how hard he works. Really inspiration for me, because I mean, he's there. E40 UFC. It's the doors open for all of us, and we will get there, all of us together.
100%, man. And that's that, brother. Thank you very much for your time, man. I appreciate it. I know it's hard work at this last bit. Guys are tired. It's been a long camp, and we wish you all the best. It's obviously EFC 72, 11th of August, Cape Town. Check it out. Thanks for your time, brother. All
Thank
the
you,
best.
Big Al. Appreciate it, man. It was great to be on the show with you.
Pleasure, my man. And we're out. See you later.